Hey, this is Bishop George Johnson Jr. Thank you so much. Hold on, let me get set up here. Thank you so much for joining us on our study, our journey through the book of Proverbs. It's been an amazing journey. We're getting close now to the end of it. We're in Proverbs chapter 23 today. Proverbs chapter 24. But your actual lesson today is going to come from Proverbs chapter 23. And I've titled this lesson, Don't Get Tricked by a Trick. Don't get tricked by a trick. So thankful for you guys for joining us. And like I said earlier, if you have not started the study, you haven't had an opportunity to start it, we want to ask you guys now to pick up right now, today, August 24th, start on the 24th chapter and continue to walk with us through the book of Proverbs. We've had some amazing time and growth in the particular word. We're not going to be on here long today. I'm only going to be on here about 10 minutes. The lesson today is not that long, but it's going to be a really powerful lesson. Don't get tricked by a trick. Proverbs chapter 23. I love Proverbs chapter 23. And it talks about some things that I think are very important and very imperative to particularly leadership. I think it's dealing primarily with leadership. So when you look at Proverbs chapter 6, it teaches you a powerful lesson on how you should govern and guide and make decisions while as a leader. John chapter 10:10 says this. It says, Jesus came, the enemy comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But the Bible says that Jesus come. He said, I have come that you might have life and have that life more abundantly. It's amazing to me how people always wonder. They say, well, I don't know why I'm going through this. I don't know why the enemy is bothering me. Well, he has three primary reasons on why he's bothering you. He wants to steal, he wants to kill, and he wants to ultimately destroy. Everything that you built, everything you're going after, he wants to destroy it. But Jesus said, I came that you might have life. And not only that, but have life in abundance. That's why he came. But there are 5 tricks that Satan steal, kill, and destroy. It's 5 tricks. And I call this 5 tricks. That's why I said don't get tricked by tricks. Satan is a trickster. It's 5 things, 5 primary things that Satan used to devour. He used to steal, kill, and destroy. Those 5 primary things that he does. And it's outlined here in Proverbs chapter 23. He uses ambition, imbalance, people-pleasing, gossip and arguments, and I call this one peaking. Peaking. He used those 5 primary ways to destroy. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. To Sean and Emmett, thank you so much for joining us. He uses those 5 primary ways to devour, to trick, to kill, to destroy. Those are the 5 primary ways he does it. Let's look at how does he use ambition. How does he use ambition? Listen at this one. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you. I'm reading from the New King James Version. And put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for they are deceptive food. Here is a powerful warning that he's telling you. He's saying, don't sit down, and when you eat with a ruler, he's saying, carefully consider. Now, this is using figurative language, but what he's saying is when you sit down, it could be food, but when you're sitting down with a person of influence, he's telling you to carefully consider what you intake. And then colorful things that are thrown at you, he's telling you don't eat it. If it's too good to be true, then it's possibly not true. Whenever you sit down with a person of influence, most of the time your ambition begins to be aroused. And oftentimes you want to do whatever it takes to get to the top, or whatever it takes, or I don't care who I got to step on, or who I got to move out of the way. But he's putting a warning here. He said, whenever you sit down, and that is so key, because sometimes we'll sit down with people and have dinner and conversation with people only because they have influence, and we know that they can take our ministry, they can take our career, they can take our life to the next level. And sometimes you'll sit down with them, but he's putting a warning here. He said, when you sit down with a person of influence, carefully choose what you partake in. You don't want to partake in everything. You don't want to be a part of the entire conversation. He's telling you to carefully select what you partake in. And then the point number 2 is the most important one. He says, and do not desire his delicacies. In other words, all of the colorful things. If they're offering you things that you have to compromise your integrity, compromise your truth, compromise your standards, compromise what you believe, compromise your values. He's saying that if you have to make a decision between doing right and pleasing a person, he says better not to even eat it. And one of the things I want to tell you is that this right here is so powerful. Listen to this. I wrote this down in my notes. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good. It's probably not true. So he's telling you to be careful when you sit down with a person of influence, and carefully listen to the conversation, and only pick and choose what you know does not go against your values, your beliefs, your integrity, your truth. Because what they're offering you could possibly be deception. So oftentimes the enemy uses your ambition to rise. Your ambition to rise that ultimately ends in your demise. The second trick that the enemy uses is imbalance. I'm talking to 2 different cameras today. Imbalance. Proverbs 23 verse 4. Do not overwork to be rich. Because of your own understanding will cease. Will you set your eyes on that which is not? Listen at this. This is the whole point of the verse. For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle towards heaven. Now, I want to talk primarily right here to my coaches. Okay? And this has been a coach's Bible study here. One of the ways that the enemy devours is that he uses imbalance. Here the text is telling you, do not overwork yourself for riches, because riches will take wings and fly away. Do not, this particular season, I know it's important to win. I know you want to go to the next level. I know you want to take your team to the championship, but do not get imbalanced and you start chasing wins over the compromise of your family. It doesn't necessarily have to be money all the time. It could be status. It could be wins and losses. It could be when you start chasing wins and losses, you start chasing things of your team more than you're chasing the things of your family. It's telling you that the end result, when all you have to do, guys, if I was to sit down and ask anybody on my Facebook page or somebody that's here on my YouTube page now, if I was to ask you, who won the basketball championship for college last year? Many of you have to sit there and think for a moment, and then it'll come to you, oh, that's who won. Or they'll say, who won the national championship in football last year? Who won the Super Bowl last year? If you don't live in Atlanta, because Atlanta was in it, you have to kind of sit there and think for a moment and be like, oh yeah, New England won. Oh yeah, Clemson won. It's telling you that right there. The things that mean the most at the end of the result, they'll vanish. I'm not telling you wins and losses are not important, but don't lose balance. And that's all that matters. You cannot sacrifice. I'm primarily directing this at my coaches right now. This is why I did this Bible study. You cannot sacrifice your family trying to win football games. Because at the end of the day, what matters most to God is your family. So I'm not telling you not to work hard. I'm not telling you not to put 100% effort. I'm not telling you not to be all in. But the same effort that you give your job, when you walk in that house as a husband, when you walk in that house as a wife, you need to give the same, if not even more, effort. How do you know, Bishop George? This comes from my own personal experience. I'm telling you, my wife and I almost went through a divorce in 2006 because I allowed imbalance. I allowed imbalance to devour the thing that God told me that was my number one priority, and that was my family. So listen, I'm hard on this because I know football season kicks off for high school this week, and then next week it kicks off for college. Guys, wins and losses are important, but what matters most is the people that God told you to be in charge of. Don't sacrifice your family. When you are there at your job, be there. Give it all. Give it 100%. But when you are there with your family, they deserve the same amount of attention. Number 3, the second way that the enemy devours is through people-pleasing. People-pleasing. And for the sake of time, I'm going to have to hurry. What's my time? Yeah. Okay, people-pleasing. And this is
12 minutes.
Huh?
12 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is in Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6. Listen to this. Do not eat the bread of a miser, nor desire the delicacies. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. You see that? The morsel you have eaten will be vomited up and waste your pleasant words. I call this people-pleasing. And I put this in my notes, and I just kind of broke it down in jargon terms. I said, stop trying to kick it with folks that don't have your best interest in heart. Sometimes we lower our standards and we start trying to kick it with people and hang out with people just to please those people. It's telling you this right here. He said you will end up wasting your pleasant words, and everything you eat is going to end up being vomited back up. Gossip. Everything that you said and shared in that conversation is going to be shared and gathered with others. So he's telling you here, stop trying to people please and hang out with everybody. You are not meant to fit with everybody. And I had to learn this in earlier parts of my ministry. I was trying to hang out with every preacher. Every preacher I thought was hot. I was trying to hang out with them because I thought if I hung out with them, then my name would rise to the top. But I had to learn that the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and he turns it whichever way he chooses. I had to learn that the favor of God is on the righteous. I had to learn that I'm blessed. And I had to learn that if God be for you, who can be against you? It's not who you hang around. It's the anointing that's on your life. You don't have to hang around and kick it with people and lower your standards just to be accepted. He's telling you that right there. Don't lower your standards just to be accepted. Move on and walk in the victory that God has called you to walk in. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 9. Gossip and arguments. Gossip and arguments. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 9. Look at this one. It says this one. Do not speak in the hearing of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of your words. Now, I put this one, I said, listen, avoid the barbershop talk. It's amazing when you go in the barbershop. You know, when you go in the barbershop, everybody's a theologian, everybody's a doctor, everybody's a specialist. You know, everybody know the Bible better than the preacher. But he's telling you right here, avoid foolish conversations. Don't get in foolish conversations, because what will end up happening is you'll end up arguing. And not only that, avoid the conversations of gossip. Now, I want to close with this one. I wanted to get to this one. Thank you guys so much for joining. Stephen, thank you so much. Erica, thank you so much for joining the Bible study. Proverbs chapter 23. All right, we're going to close out with this one. My last one, I call this people pleasing. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 17. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but be zealous for the fear of the Lord all the day. For surely there is a hereafter, and your hope will not be cut off. I call this one peaking. One of my favorite scriptures in the Bible is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. It says, lay aside the weights and the sin that so easily beset you, and run the race that is set before you. There is a particular assignment that God has called you to run. There's a particular lane that you're supposed to be in. But when you start peeking and looking, you can't run your race because you're looking at everybody else's race. Look at the verse again. Do not let your heart envy sinners. It's amazing to me how people, they get so wound up. Bishop, it seems like they're not doing what I'm doing. And Bishop, man, I'm doing everything right. And it seems like they're being blessed and I'm not being blessed. It seems like they are making it and I'm not making it. Why do I have to work so hard? Why do I have to go through that? They don't have to go through that. They're not living. Listen, let me tell you a secret. An old man told me one time. He said, listen, you don't know how those people are sleeping at night. Don't be envy of sinners. But look at what the Lord is saying. He says, hold on to your hope because your hope will not be cut off. Stop looking at everybody else. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Don't look here. Don't look there. Look at what God told you to do. Follow what God told you to do. And do it with your whole heart. Do it with everything that you have. Do it with all of your energy, all of your might, all of your strength. Do that. I don't care who's being blessed running. Psalm chapter 37 verse 1 says, fret not thyself because of an evildoer. They will soon be cut off. But you try to see when they're going to be cut off. And you're falling behind. You're not running the race that God told you to run. Stay in your lane, run your race, and don't envy sinners. Amen? Guys, we're in Proverbs chapter 24. We are almost done. It's almost amazing, guys, when we started this journey 3 weeks ago. Now we only have one more week left in this study. Guys, as we close out this study, I want to let you know, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting us. God bless you. Do we have any questions? No questions? I don't think I have any questions here.
Just subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube station.
Share
it if it's been a blessing to you. I want to send a shout because I bought it on Facebook today, so I was a lot of people. So thank you guys. It was a lot of people. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being a part of this study. God bless you guys. We'll see you on Tuesday.